Hello and welcome to the presentation video of results for Ireland's Labour Force Survey, or LFS, for Q2 2024 on today, the 22nd of August 2024. The LFS is a household survey carried out by the Central Statistics Office and is the official source for employment and unemployment estimates in Ireland. The official labour market classification of respondents to the survey is based on International Labour Organization, or ILO, concepts and definitions. And you can find out more information about the survey from our website or by contacting us at labour@cso.ie. The published infographic for Q2 2024 is shown here. The employment rate of 74.4% for persons aged 15 to 64 years in Q2 was again the highest recorded in the series, and up from 74.2% in Q2 last year. The unemployment rate for persons aged 15 to 74 was 4.6%. That's up by 0.2 percentage points. Their participation rate was 66.0%, up 0.3 percentage points, while the participation rate for females was 61.4% in Q2 2024. That's the highest recorded since the series began in 1998. The seasonally adjusted series over the last 4 years is shown here, and we continue to see a positive trend in employment numbers. The seasonally adjusted estimate for the number of persons in employment in Q2 2024 was more than 2.74 million, an increase of 20,400 or 0.8% compared to the previous quarter. The seasonally adjusted estimate for persons classified as unemployed stood at 126,000, an increase of 5,000 compared to the previous quarter. For those not in the labour force, the seasonally adjusted estimate in Q2 was less than 1.5 million, down 500 people from Q1 2024. The unadjusted estimate for the number of persons classified as being in employment stood at 2,754,200, an increase of 2.7% compared to Q2 last year. Again, the employment rate for persons aged 15 to 64 years is 74.4%, up 0.2 percentage points relative to a year ago. The seasonally adjusted estimate for the number of persons in employment in Q2 was just above 2.74 million, an increase of 20,400 or 0.8% compared to the previous quarter, Q1 2024. The annual change in employment volume, an increase of 71,400 in total, is broken down by age and sex here. Males in employment increased by around 39,600, while females increased by 31,800. The strongest increase in employment volume is among males and females aged 25 to 34, increasing by around 12,500 and 11,900 respectively. Employment volume for males 35 to 44 decreased by 6,300, while there was a slight decrease in female youth employment by 1,500. The employment rate by age and sex in Q2 are shown here. The overall employment rate for males aged 15 to 64 was 78.1%, while the overall rate for females hit its highest level in the series at 70.8%. The employment rate for youths, those aged 15 to 24, was similar for both sexes, 47.9% for males and 47.4% for females. The employment rate for females aged 25 to 34 at 81.4% and females aged 35 to 44 at 81% were both the highest level in the series. Employment rates for 15 to 64-year-olds in different regions of the country are shown here, with last year's rate also shown for comparison. The employment rate for Dublin region at 77.2% is the highest in the country and is up by 0.9 percentage points on a year ago. The region with the lowest employment rate was the Midlands at 70.2%, down from 72.7% last year. The annual change in persons in employment by economic activity, or NACE sector, compared to a year ago is shown here. The highest increases were in Sector M, that's professional, scientific and technical activities, up by 22,700 or 12.7%. Industry up 21,100 or 1.9%, and the human health and social work sector up 18,600 or 5.2%. The largest decreases in employment were in sectors G, wholesale and retail trade, down 24,900 or 7.3%, and construction, which fell by 11,700 or 6.8%. The chart on this slide compares the number of hours worked per week in primary jobs by economic sector in Q2 with a year ago. Overall, the estimated number of hours worked per week in Q2 stood at 87.3 million hours per week, up 1.8 million hours per week or 2.1%. The breakdown by economic sector is shown here. There was a growth in professional, scientific and technical activities, industry and health, but wholesale and retail, construction and finance were down slightly. The chart on this slide shows the annual change in those employed by full-time versus part-time employment by age group in Q2. Full-time employment increased for all age cohorts, with the exception of youths, which decreased by 5,100. Part-time employment increased for those aged 15 to 24 years and those over 65 by 11,600 and 8,600 respectively, and decreased for all other age cohorts. The slide here is an update on the working location. The increase in employment for females was split evenly between those who do not work from home and those engaged in some remote work. The combined increase of 8,800 females who usually work from home and 20,400 working sometimes from home was the same as those who do not work from home. There was a decrease of 2,800 males who usually work from home compared to 23,500 increase of males who do not work from home. The total estimate for unemployment for persons aged 15 to 74 years in Q2 2024 was 131,200, an increase of 9,100 or 3.5%. The associated unemployment rate was 4.6%, a 0.2 percentage point increase from the previous year. The seasonally adjusted estimate for unemployed is 126,000, while the seasonally adjusted unemployment rate in Q2 was 4.4%, an increase of 0.1 percentage point from the previous quarter. Unemployment rates for Q2 by age and sex are shown in the chart here. The youth unemployment rate for 15 to 24-year-olds was 13.0% for males and 11.0% for females. Unemployment rates were considerably lower among people in the older age categories. The unemployment rate for males in the 35 to 44 age group was slightly higher at 4.4% compared to the female rate of 3.5%, while the unemployment rate for females in the 45 to 54-year-olds was higher at 3.4% compared to males at 2.3%. The annual change in the unemployment rate in Q2 by age and sex are shown in this chart. Youth unemployment is slightly higher now for males, but has fallen for females. The rate of unemployment has decreased for all older male cohorts except for the 35 to 44-year-old age group, which increased by 1.9 percentage points. The unemployment rate has increased for all female cohorts 35 years and over. This chart shows the unemployment rate by region in Q2 2023 and 2024. The South East region had the highest unemployment rate at 7%, up from 5.8% in Q2 2023, while the Midlands reported an unemployment rate of 5.3%, up from 3.6% the previous year. The Midwest region had the lowest unemployment rate at 3.5%, down from 4.8% in Q2 2023. Looking now at the estimates for overall labour force, comprised of persons aged 15 and over, who are classified as either employed or unemployed, was estimated to be at over 2.88 million in Q2. That's up 2.9% compared to a year ago. The estimated labour market participation rate for persons aged 15 and over for Q2 was 66.0%, an increase of 0.3 percentage points on the corresponding quarter last year. The seasonally adjusted participation rate in Q2 at 65.7% was also up 0.3 percentage points in the quarter. The annual change in the unadjusted labour force in the year to quarter 2 by age and sex is shown in this slide. The largest increase in the labour force was seen in the 45 to 54 age group, with an increase of 15,500 females and 9,600 males. 35 to 44-year-old males in the labour force remained largely unchanged from the previous year, up by 500 from Q2 2023. The labour force participation rate in the year to quarter 2 by age and sex is shown in this slide. The youth participation rate for males and females were similar at 55.1% and 53.2% respectively. As previously mentioned, the participation rate for females is the highest recorded in the series. This is true for the 25 to 34, 35 to 44 and 45 to 54 age cohorts for females. In terms of decomposing the change in the labour force, there was a positive demographic effect of 59,000 and a smaller positive participation effect of 21,500 over the year. And this gave rise to an increase in the participation rate over the year from 65.7% to 66%. The number of persons who are not in the labour force, that is neither employed nor unemployed, stood at just over 1.48 million in quarter 2, an increase of 19,500 or 1.3% on the year ago. The seasonally adjusted figure for those not in the labour force at just under 1.5 million remained unchanged from the previous quarter. The potential additional labour force, that is people who would like to work but are either available but are not actively seeking work, or are seeking work but are not immediately available to begin, was more than 122,000, an increase of 22.6% compared with a year ago. The composition of those not in the labour force in quarter 2, 2023 and 2024 are shown here. As mentioned in the previous slide, the potential additional labour force grew by 22.6%, or almost 23,000 compared to quarter 2 last year, while there was also an increase in people who said they would like to work but are neither actively seeking work nor available to start work immediately. People who did not want to work fell by 24,000, while those who are classified as inactive and age 75 or over rose by 13,000. Labour market slack, which comprises unemployed, underemployed and potential additional labour force, is shown in the slide here for the last 3 quarter 2s. The total for the labour market slack in Q2 2024 was 395,800 people, an increase of 33,500 on quarter 2 2023. More than 22,000 of the increase are attributed to the potential additional labour force, while part-time workers who are classified as underemployed increased by 1,800 on quarter 2 last year. And so in summary, the employment rate for persons aged 15 to 64 years in quarter 2 was 74.4%. Employment for 15 to 89 years increased by 0.2 percentage points in comparison with quarter 2 last year. The unemployment rate, which is measured for persons aged 15 to 74, was 4.6%, up from 4.4% in Q2 2023. The labour market participation rate, measured for persons aged 15 and over, increased 0.3 percentage points to 66.0%, while the female participation rate was the highest in the series at 61.4%. That concludes this results presentation for the Labour Force Survey for quarter 2 2024. LFS quarterly results for quarter 3 2024 are scheduled for publication on the 21st November 2024. Thanks for watching.